Okay, that's a good root system. Very happy with that. Very solid root system. Hello everyone, this is Johnny and welcome back. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how I take cuttings from my Japanese maple trees, stick those in a propagation bin, and hopefully get those to root. And so I'm going to take you along my process with this Acer palmatum Orangeola variety behind me. And last year I had really good success rooting these cuttings. This was, I think, the highest success rate of all the different ones that I did was this particular one here. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same method this year with this tree and take you along that process. Okay, so what I'm looking for is I'm looking for newer growth, what I'll call semi-ripe wood. And I'm going to want several nodes to go below the soil and at least 2 nodes to go above the soil. But I also don't want to destroy the shape of this tree. So I'm actually going to look down below first. Start low. Since this is growing in a pot, normally you wouldn't want this touching the ground necessarily. So I'm going to go ahead and start low, prune there, and then I may come and get a few cuttings here from the middle. But you're looking once again for that semi-ripe wood, with probably a minimum of 4 nodes, so 2 can be below the soil, at least 2 can be above. I'll take a few cuttings here and then I'll show you what I have and I'll show you how I prune those up. So there's the first one. I can cut that into several different ones. That was just growing kind of underneath and down, and so really it needed to be probably pruned anyway. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go ahead and stick these in water. So let me grab my jar of water. It's important that you keep these in water in between the time that you cut them and you're ready to place them in the soil. That keeps them from wilting. Okay, got those in a jar of water. Let's take some more cuttings here. Okay, so there are the cuttings that I took in this jar of water. I could be more aggressive, but I didn't want to totally destroy the shape of this particular tree. And looking at it now, you really can't tell unless you look really closely that I've taken cuttings, because they're once again the ones that were really low here. They weren't really necessary on the tree. Anyway, so I'm going to go prune these up, show you what I put those in, and show you the rooting hormone that I like to use. Okay, here are those Orangeola cuttings that I took. I grabbed just a small handful here, and I'm going to go ahead and prune these down. So this is pretty thick here, and that may root, but I think I might have better success with these smaller pieces here. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt these smaller pieces. And I've had decent luck with these kind of thin looking ones on this particular tree. So it's pretty new growth, but it has rooted in the past. So we'll do a 45 there, cut off that, bring that down, bring that down, bring that like that, and something like that is what we want. So there's that one. This particular branch, it's got some older growth down here below, which I'm not going to bother with. And that's got a weird curve. So I'm going to go ahead and go a little further up here. Let's try to root there and have those nodes above, like that. Let's try that one. 45 degree, chop off the top. We'll go ahead and take off those leaves. Slim those out a little bit. Yeah, those 2 leaves will be fine. So we'll try that one. That one actually has some seeds on it, which unfortunately are not ripe yet, and so those won't be viable just yet. But I am going to be saving seeds from the different varieties and labeling them and sticking those down in soil. Of course, seeds are not going to grow completely true to the variety, but you will get some characteristics of the parent plant, and so it'll be fun to do. Hopefully I didn't cut off any more seeds, because I've been definitely wanting this tree to have seeds on it, and there are some seeds on it this year, so I'm excited about that. Go ahead and cut those off. Those aren't going to be necessary right now. And prune this down. Let's see here, I don't have any node there, so I need to do a 45 degree at that node. And since I have to go there, I'm going to go ahead and have those nodes under the soil and just have that one leaf there for now. We'll try that. Okay, so I have all these cut down and trimmed down, and now these are ready to go ahead and use rooting hormone and get those in my propagation box. I've trimmed these down such that there's, generally speaking, 1 to 2 leaves per cutting. Some might have 1 or 2 more, but generally speaking, 1 to 2 leaves per cutting. So I've done that there. Then I'm going to be using this Midas Hydro rooting compound, which is an IBA based rooting hormone gel. I've had good success with this in the past. And it's kind of a red gel. It worked good last year. So what I'm going to do, you don't want to dip your cutting directly in this to contaminate this, but it's good to take a little bit of that, an amount that you think you will use, something like that. Maybe take a spoon, a clean spoon, something like that, and put it in a little container here to the side, something like that, maybe a little bit more there. I have quite a few cuttings. And then I can take this and kind of dip in here and use that up instead of dipping in this particular container. But I have that. I have my tag, which I will use here when I stick this in. And then I have a screwdriver that I'll use to poke the holes. Now let's talk about the propagation box itself. So I've shown you this in past videos, but I have just here a clear bin. And for the top, I have drilled 3 big holes. It's important that you have a humid environment, but you don't want it to be completely closed off or you'll have a fungus problem. In my area, I haven't had the need to have an antifungal spray spraying in here, but you might in your area. So if you have an area where it stays really humid and you have fungal problems, you might need to use some kind of fungal spray to avoid fungus taking this over and keeping these from rooting. But I have that. And then on the bottom of this box, I've drilled a bunch of holes so it has great drainage. And then what I do is inside of this, and I have a few of these cuttings here that didn't have leaves. I just wanted them to stay humid. But inside here I have roughly a mix of 50% perlite, 50% peat. It's pre-moistened. And I have this at a level of 4 to 5 inches deep. And then I'm going to go ahead and use a screwdriver, poke holes in here, stick all these cuttings in here, once again, putting rooting hormone on those bottom nodes before I do. Stick those in here, and then this will get misted. Lid will stay on it for definitely a while, for multiple months. But once again, these were successful last year using this method with this particular exact variety. So let's do that again, and I'll take you along that process here and show you what that looks like. Okay, so I'm not going to count these, but I have quite a few cuttings. I'm going to start with these ones which have no leaves, and we're going to get those in, and then we'll move to these. So once again, I take my rooting hormone that I have here, and I'm going to take my screwdriver, poke a few holes there, and we'll poke, let's just poke 1 row, and then we'll go from there. Once again, the 45-degree angle is at the bottom nose. I'm going to put a little bit there of rooting hormone, a little bit there. Make sure that is coated with rooting hormone. And then we just simply stick that down in and make sure it's tamped in. Here's one of those thinner ones, and I did have good luck with even these thinner ones last year. So in this particular case, 2 nodes will be under the soil. And so actually we can get 3. Let me trim that right there and I'll have 3 nodes under the soil. It's going to increase my chances because they can root from all 3 potentially and have a good root system there. So stick that one in. Okay, so I'll do the rest of these and check back in with you. So I have all those cuttings placed in here with rooting hormone and pushed down into the soil. I have my tag, which has today's date on it, how I propagated those and the variety. And I'm just going to stick that here on this corner. And I definitely have room for more cuttings to go in here, and I'll definitely put some more in here. But whenever I put cuttings in, mixed cuttings, I make sure that it's the variety that cannot be confused with this variety. Orangeola is not going to be confused, for instance, with a Sango Keku or something like that. They look completely different when they get leaves. But that's marked. That's that way. And then I'll take my sprayer, so I have this Husqvarna pump sprayer, and I'll make sure that this is misted in now, and then I will mist this at least twice a day. And then what'll happen is I'll put a lid on this and store this in an area that gets shade for most of the day, but some indirect light. Indirect light's good, but you don't want direct sunlight. And in just a few months, hopefully the majority of these will have rooted. Once again, last year I had really good success with this variety and using this method, so I'm trying it again. Okay, so I have my Acer palmatum Orangeola cuttings right here. And according to my tag, I took these cuttings on June 14th. It's now October 18th. So it's been roughly 4 months. Okay, let's start on this side here. This one. And we do have a little bit of roots there. No roots on that one. But it didn't look that great anyway, so I didn't expect roots on that one actually. There's one more here at the corner. Oh, there's a dead one there. So that one didn't make it. But this one here in the corner looks pretty good. Okay, so we do have a little bit of roots there. Not a lot, but we do have some. And when I do pot these up, I'm going to make sure that they stay protected for a little bit while these roots form a little more, because these have been in this box in a very humid environment, and I need to basically keep it that way for a little bit until it cools off. Okay, that's a dead one there. Okay, this one rooted as well, and you can see roots right here, and you can see roots in the kind of midpoint there. So roots came out of two different sections of this particular cutting, so that's a pretty good one. Okay, this one also has roots. Okay, that one does have a root coming out there. Next season, I want to use some heat mats underneath these and see if I can speed up the process and get a little more vigorous root growth. Okay, this one, I don't know if you can see it there, but it has the smallest little start of a root right at the tip there. So I'm going to go ahead and pot that, but keep it in a very humid environment and keep it misted. Maybe that'll develop out by the time we get to winter time, as we're here in fall. Okay, this one here has a pretty good little amount of roots. That one didn't make it. Okay, that one has roots. That's probably the best root system so far. Happy with that one. Okay, that one has just that one root coming out. This one also has basically just that one root. That's dead. That may have been my Sango Keiku. But I'll pull that out, and then I have, looks like one more Orangeola here. Okay, that's a good root system. Very happy with that. Very solid root system. Okay, so I have my rooted cuttings over here, and now I'm going to pot them up. And these pots here are roughly 6 inches tall and somewhere around 3.75 inches across here. And I believe these are going to be a good place to start with these cuttings. So I have these pots already partially filled, and got some potting soil that I mixed up here. Okay, I got all the Orangeola cuttings potted up, and hopefully most of these will make it into good trees by sometime mid next year. And usually after about 1 year of growth, these cuttings start looking pretty impressive. So by fall of next year, I expect these to be pretty good looking trees. Once again, I'm going to keep these in a protected environment for a little longer. but I'm glad to see that we had some success here. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.